Hello, let's do it. What's going on?
Dez, Rowan from Silver Tiger Media. How you doing?
Good. How you doing, brother?
Awesome. It's such a thrill to speak with you again. Thank you very much for your time.
No problem, man. I appreciate the support. We're getting ready to come down to Australia, first time in 5 years, and we're going to burn down stages. So I'm extremely excited right now to talk to you, and you'll feel that in my voice, man. These interviews have been great because we haven't been there in a while, and I'm looking forward to this.
Look, I'm so vividly reminded of reading your post back in 2012 when you had pneumonia and couldn't fly out for Soundwave, but then AJ managed to get you back for Soundwave 2014. Man, we have missed you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, man, I've only pulled 2 tours in my whole entire life, and that was one of them. But when you're sitting in a doctor's office with full-blown pneumonia and you're telling them that you're going to fly, 12, 15 hours to the next morning, he just looked at me and said, "You want to be dead?" He's like, "You're going to go right now. You're going to go sleep for 2 weeks." And actually, it's what I did. Yeah, I was extremely ill. But the kind of schedule that we took, it just caught up to me. What a great guy, friend of my family. I love him and his wife, Joe. They're very tight with us and my wife. So I'm actually going to see them when I come down. It's going to be a good time.
It'll be fantastic. And look, we can't wait to have you back, of course, but I don't know what's really more exciting, the fact that we'll see the awesome Devildriver live show again, or that we'll be hearing songs from the killer album Outlaws to the End for the very first time. How have the tracks been received live around the world?
Absolutely astounding. This is something that we gave to the people who listened to Devildriver. I knew it was going to be over 3 years for a record. I wanted to give something special. Here in America, if you go to a concert, you're tailgating or you're doing something like that, you're going to hear Slayer into Johnny Cash, into Pantera, into Willie Nelson, and nobody kind of bats an eye. So those outlaws really are ingrained in the heavy metal culture here, and it had never been done. It had never been put together, especially with guests like we did. I mean, for example, Ghost Riders in the Sky with John Carter Cash, Johnny Cash's son, Randy from Lamb of God, and myself. And I think, people were really skeptical. I got a few phone calls that said, maybe you shouldn't do this. You shouldn't put heavy metal and country together. But it really came out great, man. It debuted very high in the Billboard charts. It sold a lot. It's got 9 out of 9 and 10 out of 10s, and it's been a really incredible thing. I kind of learned something, as well. It's like always do art from your heart, and have a middle finger to anybody who tells you can't do something or you shouldn't do something, and especially when it comes to doing art, you got to do what comes from your heart. So that thing has been really well received, and live we've been doing Whiskey River, which is on the record. It's myself and Randy from Lamb of God doing that song. He actually guests on 2 songs, Ghost Riders and Whiskey River, but that song has been going over incredible live, so it looks like we'll probably bring that down to Australia as well.
Oh, fantastic news. And of course, Ghost Riders is an absolute must for the show. I remember when we spoke about the album just before release, and although the Johnny Cash version of Ghost Riders is arguably the best known, you mentioned Vaughn Monroe, and I've got to admit I've been listening to that incredible version along with yours ever since, so thank you for that, Des.
Oh, man, Vaughn Monroe, I love that guy. Like, he's probably one of my favorite voices. I mean, he's got that quintessential, almost 40s kind of tone in his voice, and it's just, it's classic. His version is actually, and I told this to John Carter Cash, which it is what it is. His version, I like it actually better than Cash's version. It's amazing, that very haunting. So if people want to hear a really incredible tone in a voice, check out Vaughn Monroe.
Indeed. And of course, recording some of the vocals at Cash Cabin and certainly signing the mantle brings an extra dimension of brilliance to the entire construction of this album. Have you found that this album, I've been busting to ask you this, have you found that this album has expanded your audience and you have a fan segment that's born of that Devildriver country metal amalgam?
Well, I mean, I can say it was a huge moment in my life doing that. It was a massive moment signing that mantle that Johnny Cash had put in with his own hands, and signing next to Willie Nelson and Chris Cornell and Big Black Sharpie. That was amazing. And you got to realize that 10 years ago when Devildriver played, we played some big festival overseas in Europe, and there was a magazine that wrote about me because I was wearing a Johnny Cash shirt all the time on stage, and they were kind of like, they were making fun of it. like this heavy metal guy wearing this Johnny Cash shirt, like nobody likes country, right? Now, look at it. So now here I am at the Cash Cabin, signing the mantle that Cash put in, getting Johnny Cash's son, John Carter. We're now extremely good friends with that family on the record. And even more so to that, the Cash family had a meeting with Anastasia and I, who have the Oracle management. We manage some very big bands, had a meeting with us at the Grammy Museum with the Cash Trust from Sony, who holds all the rights to Johnny Cash, and they came to us about doing a Johnny Cash record and getting a bunch of other people together, and they put us in charge of this. So now the Cash family has put us in charge of something for Johnny Cash. So it's a momentous moment in my musical career and in my life. I'm still the guy who runs up to my heroes if I see them, and certainly working with the Cash family has been absolutely a monumental thing in my life. And not only that, it's great to meet people that are down to earth, down home, and cool. So Johnny is definitely that.
Oh, absolutely. And that is brilliant to hear, of course, but it's little wonder. I mean, the raw metal heritage that you've intertwined on this album is unbelievable. Since Outlaws to the End, and speaking with you about it, I've been listening to Hank 3, especially on Straight to Hell, and Lee Ving singing under the country pseudonym Lee James with Range War. Have you been hearing a lot of that as you've taken this album on tour, that people you've ignited their awareness of the original Outlaws and their part in heavy metal heritage?
You got to listen, man. I was a punk rock kid. I ran away from home at 15, and I was wearing a Fear shirt. Now I'm in there recording with Leaving from Fear, and he's telling me he has a side project that's country called Range War. I arrive at the Cash Cabin. John Carter Cash is waiting out front for me. The limo opens up. I get outside. The first thing he does for the first hour is sit me down with some food that he made the night before for us, and said, you know what, and wanted to talk about his love for metal for the first hour. Showed me photos of Johnny Cash taking John Carter Cash to go see Ozzy when he was like 10 years old, and everybody all dressed in black. All he wanted to do was talk to me about his love of metal, and all I want to do is talk to him about my love of outlaw country, my love of those outlaws. You got guys like Jamie Johnson who are outlaw, okay? They're current country guys, but they're outlaw to the core. They wear Lamb of God shirts on stage. So, like, there is this thing that has kind of amalgamated itself together. And, I don't think that's ever going to go away. There's a true outlaw spirit in heavy metal, and this is coming from a guy who, like, I was raised by Hell's Angels. I was raised by bikers, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and I like the 1% feel. I like the people who do their own thing, who fly their freak flag, who do their own thing. So doing these two genres together and hearing from these guys, I mean, if you talk to Hank 3, Hank 3 will do his traditional country set and then do another hour and a half of punk rock. So there's definitely something there. I'm glad that Devildriver could be the first, actually, to put that together. I mean, I had a phone call from a guy from Texas, last week, and he said, Dez, you're not going to believe this. I'm standing in the club right now, and I'm looking at a flyer. And he took a photo of it, and he sent it to me. And sure enough, it said, next Friday night, all your favorite heavy metal bands from Dallas playing their favorite outlaw country songs, heavy metal style, come jam, come see the show. Wow. And I was like, okay, here it goes. So I think there's a genre starting now in America of bands doing that, and it's going to be fantastic because some of it is extremely heavy, and it's more extreme than a lot of extreme bands that people listen to because there is that real street feel with country. Real outlaw country has a very street feel. Real metal bands, to me, are street. They're not formulated. They don't use that formulated style of like a heavy verse, this big clean chorus to make it on the radio that everybody's using now. They're actually street, and they're doing things on their own artistic level. So, yeah, man, to be part of that and put that together, or from my heroes like Lee Ving or, John Carter, that Johnny Cash indeed liked heavy metal. So, this is a guy, Johnny Cash, look, he covered 9 Inch Nails, man. You know what I mean? It's like, it's incredible to me. So I'm surprised that nobody had done it before, and I'm very surprised that I was getting the phone calls I was, by major label, people telling me I shouldn't do this. It's going to ruin the brand. Those same people, I cannot tell you how many emails I got. We got gifts in the mail. It's funny, I got black flowers from this this label executive that actually told me it would never work. He sent us like 24 black flowers to the house and said, "Hey man, this worked. I was wrong. I'm letting you know I was wrong." So it's good when you prove people wrong, man. But I am that kind of person that I always do what I want. If we're all standing on a cliff and you guys are talking about jumping, we're already going to hear the splash below, and I'm already going to go. So that's a little bit about my personality. It's a little bit about my personality. You know, my mom likes to tell my wife that, you know, she called me all my life her little challenge. So
magnificent.
I really like to go against the grain, man. You know, if you're not going against the grain, then you're going with the flow. You're nothing but a sheep.
Yes.
So get off the highway and start rocking your own path.
Oh, brilliant. I'm just picturing that brilliant photo of you on the Facebook page where you got both fingers up in front of the bands. It's fantastic.
You know, I'd like to think that I learned that from Cash, and somebody said to me today in an interview, actually, well, what does that mean, Dez? Like, when we see you doing that, and I said, what that means is I'm never going to follow the path. Like, look at all the heavy metal bands around me now. Look at all the heavy metal bands I started with. They're just radio rock bands now. They're just glorified radio rock bands. They've all gotten to the point where they need a hit single or their career is going to take a dive. And I'm watching it all around me, man. This thing where heavy metal doesn't have, well, I can't say don't, because there are some badass bands coming out right now, right? Like, so, but the majority of the bands around me are all playing this very safe radio game. You can tell a mile away it's not authentic. It's not driven by passion, by volatility. It's driven by the need to make the brand bigger. And I've never chased money. In my whole life, I've only chased art. That's what's given me who I am and that ability. So that's what the middle finger stands for.
Oh, brilliant. And of course, that was 2 years of, I want to call it hell, that you spent putting together Outlaws. So that was definitely a labour of love.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I said to a guy the other night, I was around a bunch of musicians the other night, and the guy leaned into me and said, "Man, how much, you must have made a lot of money off that record." And I went, "Dude, I spent my own money on that record." And he looked at me like, "What?" I went, "Yeah, when the money ran out, how am I going to fly people in? How am I going to, there's two things I tell musicians. If they ask you to do a cover record and put 20 guests or whatever we had on, 13, 14, 15 guests, the power of guests that we had, say no, because it's gonna ruin you. And if they ask you, and I just got done recording a double record, almost 20 songs, and that thing almost took the life out of me. So if they ever say to you, I said to Randy from Lamb of God the other night, if they ever, because he actually has a room here, we surf a lot together. We have a company together called Sun Cult. And I said to him, "Dude, if they ever ask you to do a double record, say no." Like, you won't. I said, save yourself immediately. Just walk out of the room and say no. And he goes, "Oh, dude, I will. I'll say no." I said, "Exactly, man." But here's the thing. I knew I was going on a 3-year run. I knew I was starting in Japan a week and a half ago. We just got back from Japan. And we're going to run solid until 2023. And I've never had a self-imposed vacation. I didn't have a honeymoon. I missed one of my kids graduating from high school. I missed dad's birth, you name it. So 2023, I'm going to take a very long, prolonged vacation. I don't know if I'll slip back into doing music or not. I have no idea. But I know I'm definitely going to come off the road for a very long time. So now would be the time to come see Devildriver headline. Because if we do come back during that next time, before we take a prolonged break, I'm going to be probably most likely supporting a bigger band than us, because we've already been talking to somebody. So now would be the time to come see a Devildriver headline set while you can.
Particularly when there's the opportunity to come and meet you all. I mean, we've got the additional excitement of seeing the Doctor, Neil Timon, and Austin, and also Diego for the very first time live with Devildriver during this Australian tour. We cannot wait. Des, I realise you're very pushed for time. I could speak to you all day about the brilliant album and your tour of Australia, but in the meantime, please take care and get here safely.
Thank you so much, man. We're looking forward to come down. We're going to burn it down. I want everybody to come to these shows, and I want them to see what it's all about. So thank you very much for your time, and we'll see you soon. I know the boys are really looking forward to it, and they would want me to say this to the Australian fans. Get ready. We're coming. because that's exactly what they said at rehearsal the other night. I said, a lot of people in the interviews are saying, hey, you want some last words? Do you have some last words? And my guitar player, the doctor, actually said, tell them we're coming, tell them we're excited. So can't wait to see you guys. Thank you very much for your time.
Awesome, Dez. Travel safely, my brother. We'll see you soon.
Take care.
Bye-bye.